Today we're doing another experiment with watercolors and some material. And today's material is this cardboard. This is packaging from one of my parcels. I really have a problem, shopping problem. Anyways, I'm gonna cut this and make it the size of the watercolor paper I have because it's too big, obviously. So I'm gonna make it small, and now we have a little piece. It has this beautiful texture on the side, and this is what I'm gonna use to make some patterns, some impression on the paper. So let's spray our watercolors first before we do anything else so that they have time to activate, and then we can start putting the color on the paper. One thing about this material is that this is cardboard, so this is kind of paper and this will absorb water. All the materials that we used for these kind of experiments before on this channel were some sort of plastic like the wire, the mesh, and bubble wrap. But this one will absorb water, so I don't know how this will go. Anyways, let's put some water on the paper so we can have some beautiful blooms with the color, and the color can spread more evenly and we can have some impressions. I'm gonna use different shades of red today, and I'm gonna mix them in my palette, in my handmade palette that I'm really proud of. Look at those beautiful blooms. I love when watercolor blooms. This is what made me fall in love with watercolors. It just blooms in the most beautiful way, and especially when there are like few colors on the paper and they just bloom together and make new different and beautiful color. Anyways, I'm gonna put a lot of pigment. I always put a lot of pigment on the paper in these experiments because the more pigment you put, the better impression you can see, what kind of texture or pattern or impression you get. So put a lot of pigment there if you are doing this experiment with me. And then at the end I spray water on the paper, and then we can put the material that we are using so that the paint kind of spreads around and we can get the impressions that we are looking for. If the paint is dry on the paper, you won't get any impressions, so it's important to spray the paper with water at the end. And then I put the cardboard, the piece of cardboard, and I put the texture facing the paper, and I press it with my hand to make the texture really go onto the paper. And then I'm putting air dry clay packets on it. You can put anything for weight on the paper and your material so that they stick together. And sometimes I put my sketchbooks on it. Today I'm putting these packets of clay because they're heavy. I'm a holder of air dry clay. I have 7 more packets of these. I love this clay. It's not sponsored. I just love this clay really. So now we have to wait for it to dry. I cannot use my heat tool obviously because there's clay, there's weight, and we can't even see the paper. But I'm impatient, so I'm gonna take a peek from this side. The paper looks kind of damp, which was expected because it will absorb some paint and water. So it looks a bit damp, and obviously the paper is damp too. We sprayed some water on it, so we have to let it dry. I'm gonna wait for 15 or 20 minutes and then we will see what we can do. It's been 15 minutes and I'm a very impatient person. If you have been on this channel for a while, you know that. So I took the clay packets off, and the cardboard is stuck to the paper because they're both wet and because the cardboard absorbed water too, so they're stuck together, which is great. I could just carry it outside, which I did, and I left it in the sun for another 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, it's finally time to peel it off, and this is the part I'm always most excited about because I don't know what I will see, but I'm always excited about it for the surprise. The paint also got on the cardboard, which is kind of pretty, I think, the pink paint, and I got these beautiful lines on the paper. I do these experiments mostly for fun and because I love trying new things and I love the element of surprise that I get at the end. But you can easily turn this into a background. Experimenting with different materials tells you what kind of patterns you can get for different paintings, different backgrounds. For this one, I was really craving painting a peach since a few days, so that's what I decided to do. And experiments like this also tell you what kind of patterns you lean towards or what kind of backgrounds you like the most for your kind of paintings. I mean, I do it mostly for the fun, as I said, and I like the surprise at the end, but you can easily do it as a research for your watercolor projects or even with acrylics, I think. But acrylic, I think, would stick to the material, and yeah, that won't go well. I think this is great for watercolors only. Anyways, I did the peach, and then at the end I took my colored pencil and I did some dots on one side, and I made the lines deeper by shading them with this pencil. This is not the same color, but the red kind of looks pink on the paper, which is why I chose this color of the pencil to color in the background. You can leave the background just like that. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's just your preference where what you do with the patterns you have. And even if you want to do a painting of a different subject on the top, whatever you want. Anyways, I hope you had as much fun as I did with this experiment. This is the painting we did today, and I'll see you next time with another fun video, and take care.